Good morning. Do you like this taste of spring? Pretty nice. The calendar still says it's officially winter, but it's starting to look a lot better out there. Well, tourism is a vital part of Iowa's economy. Travelers spend nearly $8 billion in our state at local shops, restaurants, hotels, bed and breakfasts, and Iowa attractions. Whether they're traveling for a weekend getaway or to visit family and friends or to attend a child or grandchild sporting event, traveler spending is big business for Iowa. The Lieutenant Governor and I travel to all 99 counties each year, so we know firsthand all the neat places that travelers can enjoy in our state. And I invite Iowans and our neighbors to get out and explore these interesting places. This is a time of year that we all start thinking about summer travel plans, especially considering the way the weather is today. And it's time that we start seeing travel ads from around the nation on our television sets, computers, and mobile devices to inspire out-of-state travelers to make Iowa their destination. The Iowa Economic Development Authority's Tourism Office has launched their annual advertising campaign this month. The campaign targets potential travelers in Chicago, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Kansas City, and Omaha through both television and digital advertising. $1.5 million campaign will run through mid-June. TV commercials feature everything from the Union Pacific Museum in Council Bluffs to Ryman Garden in Ames to the Nubo City Market in Cedar Rapids. I'd now like to invite you to take a look at some of these new TV advertisements. We'll see if the technology works.
What section is it?
See a square, an octagon, and a
Stingray, look how it moves it. Kaboom! Choo choo! She's forever talking fine. I like a chocolate covered.
Go kart. Enjoy your time.
In Iowa, whatever you want from your getaway, Iowa fills in the blanks. Visit traveliowa.com to discover trip ideas that fit you perfectly.
Hey Mom, let's play Apple Science.
matchsticks. Can you believe how many?
Sprinkles are on it. You're gonna gobble its entire cap out. It's one of the most beautiful
Butterflies in the world. I hope you have a wonderful
Time in Iowa. Whatever you want from your getaway, Iowa fills in the blanks. Visit traveliowa.com to discover trip ideas that fit you perfectly.
Now I'm going to turn it over to the Lieutenant Governor to fill in a few more of the blanks.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Governor Branstad. I love how these ads showcase Iowa. You may have noticed that all of the ads direct visitors to traveliowa.com for more information. There, they'll find refreshed site that matches the campaign. Just this week, the site was updated with new pages meant to inspire travelers with a variety of interests such as history and sports and scenic byways, family fun locations, and countless other places. The new site has been optimized for mobile devices to help make travel planning even easier. Potential travelers can also order the newest Iowa travel guide to help plan their trip. Look at this. Do we not have this coordinated or what? Inside, they'll find 6 helpful spreads featuring restaurants, local favorites, hunting, winter activities, outdoor ventures, wine, beer, and spirits, plus listings for thousands of attractions, hotels, bed and breakfast cabins, and campgrounds. As you can see, we're working hard to increase our state's visibility to visitors, and it's working. Last year, we saw an increase in the number of people who visited our great state. On average, visitors took 3.4 trips as compared to 2.9 trips in 2012. They're also spending more money per day. The figure is up 8%, about $263 to $285. So not only is Iowa working, but tourism is working too. So let's continue to work together to maintain that positive momentum. At this time, I'd like to welcome Shauna Lodi to the podium from Iowa Economic Development Authority, and she can talk more about Iowa tourism.
Good morning, and thank you. Thank you to the Governor and Lieutenant Governor for showing you some of the components of the campaign that we launched just last week. I want to talk with you a little bit, though, about how we're making some really important changes to our work at the Iowa Tourism Office to do more to inspire people to take their vacation time in Iowa. We know that time and money is precious to people, so when they're making that important choice about where to take their family, we want them to make sure that Iowa is on top of mind for them. Jessica will show you that we've been working hard over the last few years to really optimize our website. Instead of giving people lists of all of the places, all of the hotels, all of the restaurants, all of the campgrounds, we're still giving them those lists, but we're trying to add content to our website that really is inspirational. So if you are someone who wants to stay in an Iowa hotel, we've got content on our website now if you're most interested in historic properties. That information is right at your fingertips, and you don't have to wade through that entire list of properties to find what most interests you. On the home page, with the new changes we rolled out just last week, now you can tell the website who you're traveling with, whether you're traveling with your significant other and are looking for a romantic getaway, whether you're traveling with your children and are looking for history. In this example, we're going to show you what a family will find if they're traveling with their kids and they're looking for things that are off the beaten path. The website will serve up ideas to them on the fly. So we're trying to make it a little easier for people to learn about our state and, again, inspire them to make the decision to come here. And we need to say thank you to all of our partners from around the state. We are a team of 8. We certainly can't do this work alone. So thank you to all of the destinations in Iowa, all of the lodging properties, bed and breakfast, campgrounds, restaurants who work in partnership with us to make this possible. Thank you.
Shauna, thank you. And at this point, we'd open it to your questions. Yes?
Governor, your schedule says you're going on a vacation to Arizona this week.
I know, it's.
Why aren't you going? Why aren't you doing?
I'm going to all 99 counties in Iowa this year. I can tell you that I'm going to spend a lot more time here, but it is true that my daughter and her husband and our 2 grandchildren, my wife and I, we do have a timeshare in Arizona, and we're going to be spending about a week out there. This is about, I did that last year as well, and probably we should have done it earlier this year when it was really cold, but we, obviously now it looks like spring. I saw a guy wearing shorts last night at the movie theater in Iowa on the 10th of March. We saw that, we saw the one about the air traffic, what's it called? It's the nonstop, and it is nonstop. I'll tell you that. The movie, it's nonstop adventure, I guess. Well, if you haven't seen it, it's probably worth seeing.
So, Governor,
nonstop. That's it.
Are you and Chris actually going to do any Iowa vacations?
Oh yes, absolutely. First of all, we also have a lake home, and we'll be spending significant time there. But we're also that's at Panorama. We bought that last year. So we have 6 grandchildren, and they love the lake, and so we'll be spending some time there. But I started the first year that I was governor many vacations in Iowa, and I do have some advice though. Don't drag your kids to 5 or 6 historical museums in a row on a hot day, or you might get them to say some things that you regret that they would say. So I learned that lesson real early on. There's a lot of fun things to see and do in Iowa. I'm talking about, we recently stayed at the Hotel Julian. I was at the Hotel Blackhawk. Those are 2 beautiful restored hotels in eastern Iowa. There's just and the Lieutenant Governor and I do go to all 99 counties every year, not just election years, but every year. And there's just a lot of wonderful places to see and do. We had the Governor's Hunt down at Honey Creek Resort, and so there's just a lot of wonderful places to see. And we're going to be traveling very extensively this year. We're going to be going to all 99 counties, and so there will be a lot of opportunity to be there, a lot of parades and celebrations, events, Iowa State Fair.
So how many of those counties will you be there?
99. In case you missed, 99 counties every year.
We talked about this ad. I'm just wondering, the only landmark that I saw in there was the state capitol building. And how does showing ice cream and an indoor water park attract people to Iowa as opposed to any other state that has an indoor water park?
Well, I think that's the great thing about Iowa. People may not know that we have indoor water parks and that we're the ice cream capital of the world and the Mars. And those are the kind of things that we're trying to show to people, not just for Iowans who may have always intended to go to a place but have never found the opportunity. Maybe this will motivate them. And for people from out of state who think we are one giant flat cornfield, we're saying to them that we have the ice cream capital of the world. We have the Union Pacific River Museum. We have a Smithsonian-associated National Mississippi River Museum and Aquarium in Dubuque, which is also featured in the ads.
Does the ad say that? I mean, I didn't get any of those. I thought you were at a mall ordering ice cream.
Well, they filmed it in the middle of the winter. But the truth of the matter is you got to fill in the blanks. The ad says fill in the blanks. So some of it requires you to use a little imagination. But I just think of over the weekend, the Register had their ragbri route. And every year we just see thousands of people come from all over the United States and several foreign countries to go on ragbri. That's just one of many events. The Iowa State Fair. So there's a lot of things. But how much can you say in a 30-second ad? You want to at least get their attention, get them things. There are fun things to see and do in Iowa.
Is your tourism budget up this year? And is this the last printed guide we're going to see? I understood that.
This is the new one.
I know, but I heard talk that they might.
No, we don't have any plans to discontinue the printed piece.
Is your tourism budget up this year?
What we're paying on our campaign has increased about $200,000 from last year.
And in your tourism budget in general?
The budget is up a bit thanks to that gaming revenue that we get for our advertising campaign.
Is the school calendar working cross purposes with this campaign? Because of the snow days, some schools are going to be in session at least a week into June, and some are coming back in mid-August. You're talking now about sometimes a 9 to 10 week window for tourism.
Well, we passed legislation to give schools more flexibility to go from 180 days to 1,080 hours. And we think that's going to give them flexibility to be able to extend their school days to make up for snow days and things like that. And I also think it makes sense for people to be able to finish their vacations before school starts and be able to attend the state fair and things like that.
But there's no effort to change what's current law as far as.
Well, there is an effort. There is an effort, and I think there's growing support to do so.
You had some, are you coming back with some again?
Well, again, I think that a lot of Iowans feel that we shouldn't have schools starting during the state fair, and that we ought to do like Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, many of the other states, and have a more reasonable time. We want to make sure that we focus on things that are going to improve student achievement, and at the same time, we also want to respect the interest of teachers and families to be able to have some family time together during the month of August. Yeah.
Broadband initiative, some telecom officials have said they don't see the package that you put forward being enough to really incentivize new development. How much bigger are you willing to go? How much state money are you willing to put into broadband?
Well, first of all, I'm excited about the broad base of public support that we have, and the interest and the number of providers that have already extended fiber optics and broadband coverage to, and we want to try to fill in the holes. We believe that providing these incentives makes a lot of sense. Well, I know, there are some people who never be satisfied. They always want a bigger incentive, but I believe that we put together a thoughtful, realistic approach that will make a real difference with our goal of connecting every Iowan and being the leader in the Midwest in terms of high-speed internet.
But even the small telcos say that it's not the big enough incentive for them.
Well, I know my local telco up there, Winnebago, way back when I was lieutenant governor, they put in fiber optics to all of their subscribers. So some have done it. We think others should be encouraged to do so, and we think the incentives will help. But and we realize that not everybody is going to be totally satisfied, but we've tried to put together a thoughtful package, one that we think is fair to both the large and the small, but most importantly focuses on providing this critical service to people that don't presently have it and need it. And the people that are on the cutting edge of these rapidly growing businesses, they are the strongest advocates for it.
Governor, could you talk about Spiker leaving? Are you glad to see him go?
Well, it's a decision that he made, and I respect the fact that he wants to go on to do other things. I'm excited about the Republican Party in 2014. I went to several of the conventions. The lieutenant governor went to others. We found a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of interest and support, not only in our campaign, but also to gain the Senate seat and elect the congressional candidates and legislative candidates. And when I look at the president's approval rating at 36%, and I know that historically in the second term of an administration, his party doesn't do very well, I think we have a lot going for us, but we have to work hard. We have to be united as a party, and we need to make sure that we do everything we can to identify and get our voters out, as we did at the precinct caucuses and the county conventions. And my goal is to have the best organization we've ever had, run the best campaign we've ever run, and have a great team victory in November.
Could I just ask you about the Liberty?
I'm for liberty and justice for all. And the Republican Party has historically been a party that's been strong there, and I think we need to be very welcoming to everybody, and we are, and we want to encourage participation and involvement from all people, and make it clear that we want to have a strong, inclusive party that is focused on electing hardworking, honest, conservative people that are going to lead our state in the right direction. And if you look at the polls, you see most Iowans think the state's going the right direction. The country is way off on the wrong track, going the wrong direction, deeper in debt. And I think the leadership in our state is a great contrast to the leadership in the country. And we're proud of that fact.
Do you have a choice for chair?
No, I think the Central Committee should make a decision on who should be the party chair.
Are you, have you talked with your campaign folks about the slate of candidates for convention, about that debacle?
Well, first, you're talking about Polk County. That I understand has been handled, and I think Polk County and the other counties in Iowa have followed the historic pattern that they have in the past in terms of choosing candidates and delegates. And first of all, I spoke at the Polk County Convention. It was in Ankeny. It was well attended. We got a very enthusiastic response. I understand it went on for a long time, way into the late afternoon. But this is the biggest county in Iowa, and I guess you got to kind of expect that. I was also in Dallas County. The lieutenant governor was in Blackhawk, Lynn, Johnson, and Scott, and we're very encouraged. I'm excited. I've been through a few campaigns, and I'm energized, and I think we're going to have a strong, effective organization. I think we're off to a great start, and the best is yet to come.
Governor, you probably saw the CPAC conference. Rand Paul was a favorite. What do you think of Rand Paul's chances here in Iowa?
It's too early to predict 2016. We're focused on 2014. I learned a long time ago, just like in basketball games, you don't want to look beyond the next game. We're not going to look beyond this 2014 election. We have a lot at stake, and not only the re-election of the lieutenant governor and governor, and electing the first woman as our state auditor, Mary Mosman, but Mary Mosman. But I'll get it right yet.
There you go.
But I think we also have the chance to re-elect Bill Northey and Paul Pate again, and Republican senator for the first time in 30 years that will vote with Senator Grassley. I think we got good candidates for Congress, all 4 districts. I think we've got a great chance to build our margin in the House of Representatives and gain control of the Senate. So I want to do all I can to unite and bring the whole Republican team together and win a great victory in 2014. And I think that there's a lot going for us. First of all, the Democrats have a very unpopular president, and he's going to be a drag on their ticket. We have a strong and good record here to run on in the state of Iowa, which I think will be a benefit to our ticket. But we can't take anything for granted. We've got to outwork them, out-organize them, and we got to get our message across. And we do that, and we do that effectively. I think 2014 can be a great year.
The Iowa House seems to be putting on bullying debate on the floor. Are you concerned that that's?
I want to see that approved, and as soon as possible. I really believe that we have a good piece of legislation. We've had 2 anti-bullying summits. We've worked hard to perfect the legislation, and I'm very encouraged about the fact that it's out of committee. We want to see it passed. I believe there's broad-based bipartisan support for it, and it needs to be approved.
Are you going to do anything?
Yes, we're going to do all we can to encourage them to. Yes.
What are your views on the use of marijuana for limited medical services?
Well, I understand and empathize with the families who have members that are suffering from various ailments that they think would be benefited from this. But I also know there are unintended consequences to these things. If you saw the interview of Governor Jerry Brown from California, you know the concerns that he has about medical marijuana and the fact that it's gotten into the hands of many people that don't have prescriptions in the state of California. Colorado has all kinds of unforeseen circumstances from the legislation they passed, which goes beyond that. But one of my concerns is already the biggest increase in drug abuse has been where you have unauthorized people using other people's prescriptions. So the abuse of prescription drugs is a big problem in this state, and I don't want to do something that's going to exacerbate that. I don't know. I think there's a lot more. I just think there's a lot more study that needs to go on before we embark on this kind of an experiment.
How would a limited approval for medical marijuana, how would that exacerbate the abuse of prescription drugs?
Well, you all of a sudden make marijuana a prescription drug, then it gets into the hands of other people it's not prescribed for. That's exactly the problem we're having now with a lot of other prescription drugs. We have a huge problem of people, kids in many cases, taking drugs that maybe their parents or grandparents have been prescribed, and we've had many deaths, we've had overdoses and many problems, and the people tell me that are dealing with these issues that this has been the biggest area of growth in drug abuse recently. Also, we've had some violent criminal activity occur in our state in recent months as a result of people that are on drugs that then commit violent, dangerous crimes.
Did any of those mothers the mothers that were up here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they make a good case?
Well, sure. And as I said, I empathize with people that have problems, that are trying to deal with those issues, and I meet with all kinds of groups. But I also think we have to consider unintended consequences, and we need to carefully review and consider all the implications of any piece of legislation.
Some got people in here, they can't get here, they do Colorado, unintended consequences, like exporting iron.
Well, I guess I think we have to be careful about drafting our laws just for a few people that have a particular problem or ailment. If they feel that this is the only course of action for them, then I guess that's a decision they can make. But my feeling is that our focus should be on things. We have a goal of being the healthiest state. We have a goal of increasing good paying jobs, of revitalizing Iowa's education and making it as attractive as possible. I think all of those things will help us attract people to Iowa and make Iowa the kind of growing, prosperous state it wants to be. We're not Illinois. We don't have the massive debt that they have. We don't have the unfunded liabilities. We don't have people leaving in droves like they do in Illinois. So I think we've got a lot going for us.
Governor, the House and Senate set joint budget targets last week. Are you comfortable with that number that came in?
Well, first of all, we don't know the whole picture. They've only got general fund budget targets. We need to know what they're looking at from the RIF fund, Revitalize Iowa's Infrastructure Fund, and spending from other things as well. And one of my big concerns is we put together a plan to have a 2-year budget with 5-year projections. And we want to make sure that we don't get back into the bad old habit of using one-time money for ongoing expenses or having a massive one-time spending bill that puts our projections for the next 5 years in trouble.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.